Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's cast. It's going to be HitEmUp versus ArbuzBudesh. We are going to be watching a very long match, apparently, on Scoria Apotomos, a new map by Jujic. Let's see how we do. Arbuz, Protoss in the top right. And this is a 4-spawn map, so HitEmUp's Terran in the bottom right. Looks like his random has rolled in the bottom right. Ah, look at that. Smarty must be spectating this particular match. Yeah, there he is. There he is. This is an interesting color, a dark bronze color. And I don't even know, this isn't vermilion, is it? Oh, it is vermilion. Okay. Well, if I get some points for saying the color name, and then I have those points taken away from me for saying it wasn't that. But, as long as I had the points for a moment, it was still pretty good. HitEmUp doing his best to perform despite the hangover. Meanwhile, we just have, we have a 4-spawn map. It looks pretty standard, judging by the layout, but we'll actually get a look at it a little bit later. You can see the double-wide ramp, and see the pretty wide choke here for the natural, so that's going to be kind of an interesting option there. And we have Mr. Arbuz rolling on down. He's going to go for a scout. He'll scout his opponent first. That always happens in Protoss versus Terran. Fulcrum opener for HitEmUp as he tries his best to wipe his brow of the 25 beers. Some people might think that he's saying some bullshit, but you don't know HitEmUp if you think he's lying about his beer intake. All right, so the Fulcrum is going to come up. We have to see if it's going to be a quarry follow-up or not. A Vulture instantaneously gets started. Yeah, canceling the worker there, so I think that was deliberate. Yeah, he's going to go for the quarry in a moment. There it is. So having that work out that way makes a lot of sense. And we should be able to see Arbuz scale his production as a response from that. And now he didn't scout the quarry, but he should know that it's coming. It's like a pretty obvious tell when your opponent only has one production structure for this long in the game. You're saving a lot of resources to get that quarry. And the reason you get the quarry is because even though it costs 2 workers in terms of its production time, it still gives you access to a second worker production queue. So now HitEmUp can queue up 2 workers at the same time, and he can be off to the races as a result of that, trying to scale his economy. Let's see, Arbuz doing his due diligence, scouting around with his Hierophant first. Now, he is still a little bit vulnerable to the Vultures here. We do have one with double mines. That's the one that's going to get hit first by the Hierophant, unfortunately, for HitEmUp. And so that one will no longer be able to harass. And as a result, especially with the attack speed increase from the Hierophant passive, it's definitely a situation where the second Vulture wasn't able to get anything there. So now instead, there's just going to be some mine laying in a more defensive formation. When you lose the first 2 units out of your Fulcrum, as Terran, you are basically canceling the attack if you went for a quarry opener. And I'd like to see people experiment with doing, like more aggressive military openers and getting the quarry a little bit later. But I recognize that right now, I think a lot of Terrans feel like, that's just the way to go. You always want to do that. It's just, you want a little bit of everything if you also want to attack into a player not going for, like, say, a fast embassy by comparison. Arbuz did go for the double gate, and the 3rd gate has now concluded with some Ecclesiasts on the way. The minefield, if you want to call it that, is in place. It's going to be very difficult to attack up into that, but you kind of need to hang back. Like, if you get spotted with your Vultures out in the middle of the map, the Protoss can just walk into your base, right? So that can be very, very tricky. Starpad now on the route. HitEmUp trying to maybe go for a Phalanx drop. We'll see how that one ends up going. But the Hierophant's already out, so it does feel like, the tools are here to stop that, right? The Hierophant applies a slow when it attacks, and that slow can turn into not just a movement speed slow, but also an attack speed slow, at which point the overlay turns red to signify that. And the Brave Zealots accepting all of the stuns. The other point that's interesting to point out there is that when a unit with the red stack with the attack speed slow, we call that Malice. When the unit with Malice is killed, its corpse is consumed to create an attack speed buff for the Protoss. So you can imagine that ends up being pretty impactful in some of these tight fights. Looks like it's not going to be a fast Phalanx after all, though. It will most likely be a Cyclops drop, since we have 4 of them, and that's how many fit in a Trojan. I'll have to wait for that one. But these bad boys can be quite deadly. Now, if I'm in Arbuz's position here, and he takes the natural, he knows that his position is better for that. But he will be behind in terms of worker count, because he's up against a Terran player building a quarry, right? So, you know, at this point, you just recognize the position. Your opponent's speccing into more of the mechanical side, like the macro side. He's not going to be able to jump in or jump out. Looks like the Ancient does end up escaping. I like the little position Arbuz took there. That was the next thing I was going to say is, you know, drop your Hierophants in a couple of spots, see if you can catch any drops going from that angle. And just by going there for in the first place, maybe HitEmUp will be less inclined to charge forth, you know? Might be something worth putting out. But HitEmUp now has the Scout. And he's going to be feeling pretty good about the fact that his opponent doesn't even have an embassy yet. So he's going to see how much heckling he can really do. But at this point, it's looking like, you know, with the Nexus being not finished, the embassy nowhere. Yeah, that's definitely a situation where I think Arbuz is going to be feeling the burn, right? The worker count already getting out of hand. Treasury being added. So there's going to be an attempt at breaking out of the soft contain. And honestly, there's enough Zealots and Ecclesiasts here that I feel like we could see Arbuz trade down the military. You know, he does want to wait for those 3 Dracodons, I suppose. The NCL is going to provide some nominal amount of protection. And if these Hierophants go down before Arbuz reacts, that can be really, really bad. Thankfully, oh, he does lose an Ecclesiast, so I was going to say if that was a Zealot, that's fine. Falling back to the high ground, here's the Dracodon reinforcements. I can absolutely step in and just mop the floor with this situation. The NCL's out of energy, so it's going to need to fall on back. A second one makes it to the front lines. But look at the Ecclesiasts doing so much shield healing. Those Zealots stayed alive for a crazy amount of time. And even through the splash damage of the Cyclops and the concentrated fire of the Goliaths, that still was not enough for HitEmUp to be out of dodge. Zoned away by the mines, Arbuz can absolutely attack move through this position. I feel like we... Did I get the wrong replay or something? This should surely be a quick and dirty game. But let's see how it goes. That was a meaty stun on half the army. Oh, look at that. From downtown, another mine goes. Okay, maybe we can see some attrition now. But, you know, it's just the 3 Goliaths staying alive at this point. And, you know, you lose an Ecclesiast, you lose the... Oh, focusing down the quarry. Okay, this isn't bad. Remember that HitEmUp has a 10-worker advantage right now. So if somehow he stabilizes, he's still in the game. That's a meaty stun. Dude, the mines have been so good. So good. He still hasn't able to focus down the Goliaths. One of them finally goes down, but 2 more have already emerged. We got triple Fulcrum production now. And remember, the worker count is still great for HitEmUp relative to his opponent. Nice focus fire onto the Goliaths. He's not out of the woodwork yet. Needs to get rid of that quarry, for sure. And now evacuating the workers. Bit awkward for the general deployment here, but okay, looks like he's going to end up getting it. Now, he can tag it. Yeah, he tags it with the Hierophant slow. The Treasury is not going to get out of there. Even laughing on the way out, dude. How rude. All right, well, I think he doesn't want to chance up the ramp. He's been stunned so many times now. He wants to stick it out. Worker count has narrowed a little bit. Most importantly, the base count here affords more Vespene for Arbuz. Saturation works a bit differently in Cosmonarchy. You want about 16 workers on minerals to achieve baseline saturation, and then if you add another 8 workers, then you're okay on the mineral saturation for a little bit. But anything past that, assuming it's a 8 mineral field base, which has been our standard for a while now in Cosmonarchy, that is going to be basically nothing. Might afford you like 1 extra mineral a minute or something. Like, it's very, very minor if it's anything at all. And most of the time it's nothing. So after a certain point, you do cap out and you want to transfer your workers, which is pretty normal for what people would expect. It just happens later in the game that you must transfer the workers than in Starcraft 1 by comparison. But I might not be able to finish my thoughts about the economics, because at this point, Arbuz is still... He's not interested in letting on the pressure. He's got 2 Stargates coming, using his extra base, his extra Vespene for good measure. Now thinking about taking a 3rd base, tasking his worker to the 12 o'clock position. And he's just going to hang out over here for a little bit. So, yeah, the fact that we've got 38 workers, 43 workers over here, HitEmUp has continued to produce workers, means that as soon as he actually secures the base, he'll be okay. But now the Phalanx is out. That's going to be the signal for Arbuz to either attack or leave. You know, we have a saying in English, shit or get off the pot. That's kind of the situation Arbuz is in. And he's going to make the decision to unload directly onto HitEmUp. Unfortunately for our Terran player, I really don't know if he's going to be able to stabilize here. He has more Phalanxes coming. That's yet another mine hit. Yet another big mine hit. The Vulture's working out massively here. Sieging directly off the rally point is that Phalanx, and it's going to get at least one more shot. Yes, it is, but it will end up dying. That still is going to be enough to ward off this Drakodin push, and that will be Arbuz calling it quits there. And that attack, it did trade down the military, but what it didn't do is do any damage to the economics, right? So at this point, HitEmUp is kind of even in the money game. And maybe he'll be ahead when he gets a Cori up. Indeed, he's already going after it. So he's been behind in terms of Vespian income for some time. Relatively even on mineral income. Well, I guess he's behind there too, right? Because he still has a lot of extra workers there. He could transfer 6 off of that into the minerals of the natural expansion, and he'd be better off. But the third base is the main story here for the Protoss player. Going straight for that. We've got the double Exemplar coming. Drakodin firing squad on the high ground over here. Transferring some workers. Do we still not see an embassy? That's interesting about Arbuz's play. He doesn't always go for the embassy. I think he thinks of detection as like a luxury that he only needs if his opponent starts to use cloaked units or something to that effect. We know that the witness or observer for our StarCraft 1 friends can be very powerful for information gathering, so it feels a bit odd to not see it used. That being said, we have a ministry starting over here. The reason why you go for the treasury over the ministry is for timing. You need this expansion now or you want it fast. And then you can land it and transfer workers over, so it makes a lot of sense in the situation that HitEmUp was in. However, it has less armor and way less health than the Ministry does, and it can't produce workers directly. That's why it needs the Cori add-on for that. But you can also build a Ministry and then build a Cori add-on, and then build 2 workers at a time on site, which is much better for actually saturating a base, especially if it's like an island base or it's a remote situation or whatever. Now, the Vultures get into 12 o'clock. Great little scouting party over here from HitEmUp. He's going to be able to harass the worker count down and take that advantage yet again. What do we have as a response to this? It looks like the Exemplars might show themselves in that avenue. And yeah, Arbuz not handling the position over here particularly spectacularly, I would say. Still not responding to it with an actual force, right? He's just going to put down some wardens. And, I mean, hey, HitEmUp's not, turning the screws. You would expect somebody to respond to that with an attack force of some kind, defense force, perhaps. Instead, the response is going to be Exemplars in the mineral line. These guys do splash. They don't attack air, but there's no air for HitEmUp anyway. So the splash damage is just going to start evaporating all of these Masons. So, you win some, you lose some. And in this case, you kill some workers, you lose some workers. That is the story of HitEmUp right now. Who is only up by 6 workers after all that. And the Goliaths will indeed be heckled here. This is something that we talk about a lot with map design in Cosmonarchy. And, I'm sure you guys know in StarCraft 1, the same sort of tactics apply. Since this is a newer map and it's entering into testing, it's kind of worth pointing out that, oh my god, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to move out and not attack and not respond to this threat and just see if he can overpower the Drakodin flank. Looks like the push is going to come in for the gateway. The gateway man. Goliaths on the front line, not exactly where they want to be, but hey, they'll do it in a pinch if the Phalanxes need the support. Focus firing, though, just charging on him, but it's a nice little stagger line. Only one Phalanx going down. All the Drakodins just being immediately taken out. Now it's just a question of whether or not those Exemplars are called away, and it looks like, yeah, the Gambit was successful. He did lose a lot of workers, though. Not transferring them over, I think, was a mistake for sure. Feeling like he couldn't actually attack the Exemplars, and the reason is because they can hover over this ground that you can't attack, you can't see up. He would need to have lifted the treasury or, lifted brought an air unit, maybe an ant seal or something over. In fact, I don't know if he has any more ant seals. That doesn't seem like he ended up making any more. So just when it looked like HitEmUp was going to be able to bring himself back into the game, he just gets hit with that sort of thing. Now, he does shellac the ground army. Now there's really minimal ground forces for Arbuz, and he is going to have to rely a lot more heavily on his Exemplars. And he does have an embassy now going for witnesses, so he'll be able to handle that a little bit better. Workers still transferring slowly over to the 12 o'clock. That will reveal this target for the Exemplar stack of 7 Exemplars right now. But the Goliaths in open ground, they're going to be happy to take this trade. Mech units don't take as much spread damage from the Exemplar. And look at this, some of the gateway units getting brought in a little bit at the inopportune time. Just an awkward formation here for HitEmUp. He does have to watch out for the Exemplars sharking back in, as much as you can call that sharking with their slow movement speed. And look at this, yeah, you got to watch out, Just like you were saying, oh, I'm the king of the world, I'm going to attack you from over the cliff. Well, in an open ground, these guys just go down easy to Goliaths. That's kind of the Goliath's speciality, is the anti-air stuff. A Grand Library has been built at the third base. Looking around for any other tech here so far for Arbuz. Doesn't look like anything else is there. Amaranths can be pretty good at just sustaining themselves. They have shield steal, so that is what is being produced right now. Would love to see some more Cantavis or something like that for crowd control. Looks like the Exemplars and the Goliaths are just going to duke it out. A couple more forces are off to the side here are going to barely hold off the Gateway Man, but remember that there's more coming for that. The Exemplar count is really what matters here, and there's so many Goliaths that the Exemplars have been whittled down to only 3. So suddenly, you know, I mean, there's enough static defense to slow this down. It's not like you can just walk on in, and the Phalanx count has been reduced enough that it really doesn't matter that much. Like, you're not going to be able to bust the Wardens, right? So the third base is being set up. The quarry was constructed on site, as mentioned, and so now we have a lot of workers going in at 6 o'clock. The worker count starting to come back into things. We've got, what is it, 7 Fulcrum, so that's a decent amount there. And are we going to see Tier 2 anytime soon? The Witness is here. One of them detecting where the phalanxes are at, the other one just idling. 2 is staring at them, at each other like star-crossed lovers. And now it looks like we're going to see an attempted 4th base taken by Arbuz. It's so funny that he opened this up by saying, "Oh, this is going to be my last one, guys. I don't have much more in me." And then apparently gets locked into a long one. I was told that this was quite long. I don't know what that actually means, but that was the description that I was given. 1,000 minerals in the bank, so you can definitely afford to drop the Nexus. Hopefully he remembers to get that all done. I love this cute double gas base here because it's definitely very cramped. Good luck actually being able to defend that without map control elsewhere, which is good. That's a kind of stylistic approach that people like to see, I think. More Exemplars arriving. We got a lot of Zealots this time around. I think Arbuz has realized that that's definitely going to be more useful to him. Unfortunately, first couple of Phalanx shots, very effective at softening up the shields, and the Zealots just end up being evaporated. Now, again, the Amaranths are going to come over here, but they do end up getting focused down, and they were kind of clumped up as well. That one over there that was off to the side lasted way longer because the splash damage was not able to do the main chunk of damage to it. And now, HitEmUp, I think he's actually splashed his Goliath count enough that the Exemplars are able to overwhelm the rest. So he's going to end up losing all of these mech units. Maybe this one Phalanx will get away because Exemplars are very slow, but as of right now, it looks like it might be destined for failure as well. No, ends up getting pulled away. He's saved. He's saved. It looks like top left will be scouted by those vultures. We do have the Wardens and the Engram off to the side here for Arbuz's 12 o'clock. Oh, no, he might not scout it. He'll see the Grand Library, get a couple of worker kills, and then Arbuz will realize, ah, damn it, my defenses were not in position for this. And the Engrams are going to come in for a second attempt. Remember, this is where we saw HitEmUp be focused and forced out of his own base. And oh, that could have turned around to do some nice damage. Oh, there you go. Get a couple of Masons on the way out, why don't you? And just abusing this cliff. This is the map design I was talking about, right? Is something that I guarantee you will have been talked to Jujic about after this game was, hey, maybe don't have this. Maybe just kill the cliff and make it magma or something so that, you know, my opponent can't just walk around and hover me. And especially in vertical spawns, this is where you're going to see that the most, right? It's like, oh, I build my air units and I just rally them into your base. From that position. Now, again, this whole time, all of these workers are huddling around the campfire that is the geyser. It looks like the Engram is going to be able to get rid of the vulture at least. But yeah, that's a little painful as well. So it's not like HitEmUp was doing nothing during that. He's trying to rebuild the quarry. What is the reaction at this point? An Ant Seal coming for vision so that he can actually see up it. Negate the intrinsic advantage there. Big worker transfer to the bottom left where he's setting up a treasury for his own 4th base, but he's now lost the treasury in the natural. So that is not necessarily a crippling blow, but that's very, very, very difficult to come back from. This is a scrappy one. This is a scrappy one. I like this. All right, workers have arrived at top left. They could peel off this geyser at any time. Looks like, there you go. Arbuz has figured it out. Gonna saturate the geyser again. And we're back to spending money on Amaranths. If we had more Grand Libraries, that could definitely be good. If that's the kind of thing you're going for. Oh, no! It didn't get canceled. I mean, it's 200 minerals, so it's not like a 400 mineral investment like the Ministry was, but this is still rough. This is still rough. All right, HitEmUp has realized, I just got to get out of here, dude. I can't stand this. I can't stay and fight this. I'm going to go off to the Field of Dreams. And once again, the stun happens. The very paltry front line. There's not much of a front line over here. We still have, what is that? Yeah, that's 9 and now 8 Exemplars. Phalanx is doing their best to pepper down the Dracodons, and maybe they're going to be successful in the process. Thankfully, that Zealot ended up going kaput, so we don't see too much splash damage shared onto the Goliaths because they are absolutely necessary right now thanks to the Exemplar count still being pretty respectable. Forcing some element of respect here. No healing, no shamans, no clerics, nothing for keeping these units healed up, and certainly not going to find time to repair in the middle of all that. Let's see what we're doing over here, Arbuz. What are we doing? Just more gateways. Okay, he's going to add gateways to another main base. You know, that's StarCraft 1 for you. That's StarCraft 1 right there. Guys, I don't know if you knew, but we have 50 units per race here in this game, so you don't have to stick to just Goliath tank, Anseal occasionally. Nice snipe on the Witness. You also don't have to stick to, you know, Dracodon, Zealot, Ecclesiast, Exemplar, Amaranth. You know, there's many more units you could add to that. Oh, look, Cyclops. Yeah, of course. Love it. I think, right? How much range does the Goliath have in the anti-air? Yeah, the Madrigal has the same range when it's in its anti-air mode, which is very mobile. I feel like the Madrigal wouldn't have been a bad shout here, but, you know, mostly just because it deals splash, and Arbuz has been balling up his Exemplars. I feel like that wouldn't be that bad as an idea, but we'll see. Maybe I can convince HitEmUp to give that a shot next time he's in this position. Admittedly, they are a little bit better versus Zerg and stuff, so it's not something that you normally see versus Protoss unless they're making a lot of vassals. Now, here comes another engagement. The mech count is very, very high. Cyclops are just going to get splashed down to smithereens, unfortunately. Not able to get any of their own splash sort of countered over. Anseal's trying their best to recharge. The Exemplar count is ludicrous, up to 12. He's also got a couple land effects over here. Has he added a third Stargate? No, it has not. Adding a Synthetic Synod and Double Prostration Stage to get the tech up even further. Here's the Disruption Field. Just fly on over them, blanket them with the Disruption Field, and then they can't attack. But it wasn't exactly the best control, so he ends up going down there. But it does sow a little bit of confusion. And it is a target you have to kill, and so that does leave the Exemplars ready to mop the rest of this up. And that will be yet another army, I think, going down here. HitEmUp waypointing more units over, but he's not splitting them. Versus the splash, he's not splitting them. I know I said the Goliaths don't take that much splash damage because they're a little bit bigger, but still some of them, right? It does add up, so that's one of those situations that you wish you maybe had parted them a little bit here and there. Double Prostration and the Synod. So these are expensive tech structures here for the Protoss, but we'll see what he wants to make out of them because he hasn't actually started pumping units yet. Ministry being added to the 6 o'clock base, likely to float to the double gas expansion. Interior 6, if you want to call it that. It's just Exemplar, Dracodon, yeah, Zealot, and now we have some Pariahs coming. And a Demiurge, for good measure. Why not? Why not, guys? Well, I don't know if the Demiurge is going to be that useful in this particular case, but I guess it'll be good for trying to hit the some of the units from afar if you have cliff advantage in particular. I just feel like versus Phalanx, that's not ideal. Oh, look, a single Zealot has arrived. Well, fuck me, right? That's what HitEmUp is saying now. See if we can just kill it as the Exemplars once again try their best to abuse this terrain. Mine relocation in progress. I can't believe HitEmUp is still at tier 1. Like, normally we see tier 2. This might be the longest tier 1 game I've seen, actually. The Zealot is finally going to die as more Dracodons and Amaranths. Oh, no. I kill the Zealot, but this is what happens to me. Now, lift the Treasury and self-destruct the Quarry for maximum points. That's what I want. Let's see. Where are they going? Looks like they're going to 6 o'clock, but there's no defenses there either, so. And this is the problem, right? If you're not a tier 2, you can't construct Sentinels, which are like anti-surface watchdog type structures. So you can think of them as like turrets for that purpose. All right, the army size isn't massive for Arbuz, but the Exemplars are always going to be a problem, and it's just been pure Goliath, man, really, with a couple of Phalanxes here and there. Pretty wild. Amaranth's charging in. You can see, look, they're just immortal, dude. You cannot stop them. Oh, here's another stun for you. He will just kill you. He shield steals too much, dude. No, you got a focus fire. There we go. Okay, more of them arrived. All right. He's fine. He's still here. The Demiurge has surely arrived at some point. Right? Did it get stuck? Oh no! There's two of them getting stuck in there. I was like, where's the demiurge at? Oh man. He's gonna have to pop a pylon. But does he have the time? Does he have the wherewithal? Engaging with the pariahs, he gets a couple of hits on. There's another disruption field from the land effect. It's a little short-lived. Big engagement over here, though, and the attack speed increase from the pariah. Definitely helping out the Gateway army. Even spreading to the Exemplar in a limited faculty. More pariahs arriving. The Goliaths just struggle with those a lot more than you might expect with their anti-surface, and the splash damage from the Phalanxes is not really helping things when it comes to that. But now we have just Exemplars left. Is there enough Goliaths to take them down? I think the answer to that question is no. We have closer reinforcements. Amaranth's making the march on from the 12 o'clock and top left positions. And even though you got more Goliaths reinforcing, they're kind of scattershot. 5 Exemplars still alive. I don't know, man. I'm liking the look of this for Arbuz. And there goes the last Phalanx. All right. Another base being added, the top left natural. Shut this one down. So we're down to 4 base for HitEmUp. Wasn't confident in taking this base. That would be hell to try to defend with no Air Force. I mean, specifically when you're up against an enemy Air Force. These 5 Exemplar, many of them bruised. We've got 4 more on the way. No way! And the Gateway Force is coming on down, is equipped with the Pariah as well. Very scary stuff. Very scary stuff. All right, only 7 Exemplar left. But once again, engaging from the high ground. Is this the game where it goes? Is this the fight that swings it all? I'm not sure. I mean, the ground army's been dealt with. Yeah, the Exemplar's being routed now. I'm not sure how that happened, but I guarantee you, these 2 pariahs being stuck here did not help. If he only popped these pylons, he'd be able to just walk away. But goddamn, dude. That's crazy. Has he even noticed? Like, I haven't seen him... Surely you would start attacking the pylons if you did notice, right? But I'm pretty sure they can fit through that. No, it's like he hasn't... no, he can't see them or something? I don't know. It's, it's just like in a moment, you're like, oh, I thought I ordered up these goddamn demiurges. I don't know where they went. They must have died in the fight without me noticing. They're pretty hard to miss. I don't know. But, all right. More Goliaths, because of course. But now we're seeing a switch into Mass Zealot, right? And so he's pre-spreading some of his units off to the sides so that he can do a widespread engagement if need be. Now we do have more and more defenses being set up here. Amaranth enjoying some free Mason kills. You're not going to be able to kill the Amaranth with your Masons, that's for sure. No, instead he has to respond to this threat with a bunch of Goliaths. The worker counts are pretty high for both players, but here comes the Exemplars to try to fix that for HitEmUp. It's like, you got too many workers, dude. Let me help you out with that. Just shutting down the quarry makes a lot of sense. This is going to force the Ministry to lift off almost certainly. I would try to stop this guy from finishing the Ministry, because then it can't lift off. No, he cancels it! It was just about to be done. Feels like maybe there's a chance that your opponent makes a mistake and lets you finish that up. Now here comes some more Amaranths. Not in a critical number, unfortunately, for Arbuz, so he won't be able to cause a ridiculous amount of ass pain. But, yeah, okay, that force gets routed fairly easily. We still do not have Tier 2. Dad alert, dad alert. No Tier 2 detected. Corey going to go ahead and be put down. Worker count still favoring HitEmUp narrowly. Although at this point, I feel like the base count kind of tells everything. When are we going to see somebody try to take these center bases? That's what I want to know. Warden, Engram. Oh, look at that. He's not taking the center base, but he's taking another one. We like that. We like that. Going up to your 6th base is Protoss. We see Empresses. They can't get stuck. I can't believe it. All right. Still hasn't decided to free his demiurges. Maybe he doesn't need them. He's an honorable Protoss, right? I mean, honorable, but you're making pariahs and abusing Exemplar Cliff. I mean, come on. Empresses as well. All right. He's luring his opponent into a trap with all of his Goliaths kind of stuck in one spot. This is like the pure test of how long can you go with Tier 1. Like, if you saw this army and you saw the timestamp being almost 30 fucking minutes, there's no way you'd think they would win this fight versus the Exemplars, the Empresses. Now, even still, it's doing way better than you would expect it to. Just a pure amount of resources put in to the Goliaths, but it's still going to be a very dominant victory. Maybe the first real dominant army victory for Arbuz. It feels like it's been tightly contested the whole way through, but now we finally have a situation where it's just too damn much. Surely HitEmUp will not be able to stave defeat off with pure Goliath. No, he's just going to add 3 more Fulcrums, 4 or 5 more Fulcrums. Why not? He needs even more Goliaths. Goliath man. I don't think he's going to be able to get too far, though. Hey, he can steal the ministry. He took it. Quick. You got 26 seconds. No, he's just going to blow it. What an ass. He's like, aha, I took your fucking quarry, dude. Even denied him the kill. That's not even going to show up in his score screen, dude. I can't believe this. Oh, man. Now he's found the double gas base. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking for HitEmUp. All right. What can you do? Can you break through the 14 Drakon 1 Pariah force with 23 Goliaths? I mean, maybe. All the workers have already died. The death rattle of the Pariah is pretty thematic, I feel like. There's a sound effect that originally was sourced from Iskatu Mesk, of all people. Well, I don't know where he got it from, or how he engineered it. But I found it, I fucked around with it, and I feel like it came out pretty well. Pretty good stuff. Capping the Geyser? No way! That's something you can't do until Tier 2 is Terran. Maybe if we wait another 30 minutes, we'll see HitEmUp do that. I feel like a switch flipped at some point in HitEmUp's head, and he was just like, yeah, dude, I'm not going to make an Atlas this game. I'm going to stick to pure Goliath. 10 Goliaths a pop. Oh, my God. He doesn't have the income to justify that, I feel like. He's lost bottom left. He's lost bottom middle. He's retaken the sort of fourth base location, or third base location, whatever you want to call that, above his natural. But I don't know. Okay, Goliath count is massive. It's immense. It's burgeoning with power, and Empress has arrived as tribute. A couple salvos will take care of that. Here comes some zealots for the engagement. Another big zealot is what you can call the Pariah, big zealot. All right, well, you've cleaned up the ground force. We've got more Drakons over here. They struggle versus Goliaths in normal numbers. More Pariahs, more Drakons and zealots, more Exemplar. No difference in tech. The approach is going to be the same. Unfortunately, these Empresses are going down. That's an expensive loss. If only these Demiurges could escape. No way HitEmUp is going to win with Mass Goliath. Dude, no, you can't tell me that this game ends with pure Goliath. Like, this is like what some Protoss players have said about Terran players. They're like, why would you build it? This is Hepsea's dream game right now. Like, why would you build anything besides Goliaths? Why would you build it? Why would you do anything other than build Goliaths? I guess HitEmUp is thinking the same thing, and that this is the least expected outcome, least expected strategy. Pariahs are going to go ahead and engage on the ramp. That's going to be a nice, juicy couple of hits. Exemplars engaging from the left side. I don't know if HitEmUp can continue this attack kind of thing. The worker's now being pulled to screw up the AI, and the Exemplar count is so damn high. There's more coming from these Stargates as we speak as well. So that's going to be it for this Goliath wave. We've got a couple more coming in from the bottom end, but the Zealots are going to help out with that. And then, the Drakon that, endangering this treasury that was at some point reconstructed to steal back the quarry. This base is back. If only he self-destructed the quarry, you know what I mean? All right, so we've got 11 Exemplar, 2 more on the way. More and more Pariahs. The Demiurges are just an ornament at this point, a base decoration. Amaranth's waypointing into 6 o'clock to cause even more hubbub. Just go after that quarry, man. Could saturate the interior 6, but it doesn't look like that's what HitEmUp is going to do. Exemplars are going to come in and just destroy this real quick. Why not? My God, man. My Goliath, man. There's not that many anymore, though. Like, that was an ungodly stack of Goliaths earlier, but we're down to 18, 20. Like, I think the economic deficit has weighed on him. Aw, he's losing workers to an Amaranth. Can't believe it. Arbuz on 6 bases, just massing up the Exemplar stack ever further. I would have loved another Stargate at some point. Crucible, okay, that's good. Faster production on the Stargates. He is going to take the double gas base in the middle. The Goliaths are going to go on patrol. Imagine setting up some phalanxes over here and shutting it off that way, dude. There's no way you can hold that base. without like mid control in some way. Maybe if there was like some cover, like bits and bobs of unseeable terrain, like stacked cliff or whatever, that might actually help this area out a lot, so that you can kind of split it. Because right now it's so open. But I mean, it being so open also lends to some nice, nice fights, some nice big army engagements and such. But still, very, very bizarre stuff. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Are you sure the 25 beers wasn't just him counting as Goliaths? Because, oh no, he's up to 29. Somebody save his liver. They gather around the pyramid in worship. I think he just sent a worker down to the bottom left. All right, Arbuz, what else you got for us, man? The Goliath count is growing yet again. He's got a lot of zealots. He wants a nice engagement here, timing-wise. And in terms of the concave and stuff, wants to try to wrap around. See some ant seals and, of course, some phalanxes. I don't know if 2 phalanxes are going to make a huge difference right now, but the splash damage can be considerable. It's sometimes helpful to throw in, like, legionnaires just so that you can, like, drag their shots and stuff. Because they're so fast, right? You probably won't take that much damage. Witness spotted in the middle of the map. Going to be negotiated out of town, so yeah. There was a unit that I was planning for Terran called it wasn't the Diplomat. I forget what it's called. I'll talk about it later. Let's talk about the Zealots crashing upon the wave of Exemplar that are just non-stop shelling these Goliaths. There's no way this fight goes the same way as before. The Goliath count is dropping too damn fast. The reinforcements are not coming fast enough for HitEmUp. Oh my god, 13. No, make it even less. Keep that number going down, even though he's making 10 at a time. The Exemplars are just crushing face right now. And the Zealots, even though they've been chewed through, that was more than enough for the initial attack. Even the Witnesses are chasing you down, dude. Alright, the stun was pretty good. The unit I was thinking of was the Terran Ambassador. And it had a, I think it had 2 weapons. One of them was like the Diplomat rifle or something, like pulse rifle. And then there was another one that was negotiator rounds or something. There was something like that. Like he had a passive about negotiation. It was pretty funny. Alright, this ministry is cooked. So no more 5th base. We've got reinforcement Exemplar coming. Well, at least one of them is going to go down. There's a second one going down as well. But hey, 2 out of 4 is still going to be plenty since your count is 19 in total. What can you do? Oh, yes. Why would I even ask that question? You can build Goliaths. The writing seems to be on the wall. He's going to try for a death push, but the reinforcements are going to be able to hold this Goliath army at bay. How long can you make pure Goliath for? The answer is almost 40 minutes long. That's how long. I mean, hey, this force will trade nicely versus the Dracodans. It's just the reinforcements are going to be able to overwhelm that eventually. And now the production is in danger with the Exemplars arriving. There's really no way that HitEmUp can win based on this, I think. But you know what? He gave it the good college try, the good Goliath try. And with 5,000 minerals in the bank and counting, Goliath man loses. Arbuz is victorious. I can't believe that's how that game ended. My god, dude. All right, GG's. Arbuz has managed to make it happen. The pure Goliath strat did not work. At any point, I feel like HitEmUp could have transitioned into Tier 2. And he would have maybe been all right. But he didn't invest in a single stockade for healing or anything. Nothing like that. No. No. Well, join us tomorrow for another game. GG's.